Everybody, how you doing? It is Friday morning, February 19th. I can't believe we're almost into March. Spring is almost here. Cannot wait. So today I want to talk about something that has always been an ongoing issue with my sales career in new construction home building, and that is price increases. So back when we started 2010, it wasn't as much of an issue because the economy was not very good at all. There weren't really price increases by the shingle supplier or the cabinet supplier. They pretty much had to hold their prices. We had to, as builders, keep our prices down as much as we could, and then the manufacturers of those other products had to do the same if we were going to get people to build homes with us. Things are a lot different today. So we are 2020. I would say since 2015, 14, considerable price increases every single year. And the reason for that is because the housing market has been on an uptick ever since then. So every year, those companies like the cabinet supplier, the shingle company, they had been, holding their prices since 2006. Maybe that was the last time, 2006, 2007, maybe that was the last time that they gave a price increase. So they did not give a price increase for 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 8 years or so. And then they finally, things are getting a little bit better. We can start to increase our prices. Same with the electrician, the framer. They had to hold their prices and do things for the least amount as possible on their side of things in order to help the builder keep his prices down and build more homes. And again, that is just not the case today. We have, I would say, at least 2 price increases every single year. We just had one in January, and we had one in September of last year. And then I want to say we had one in the spring of last year as well. And this isn't because we are deciding that we want to make more margin on these houses. This is because we are finishing a certain number of houses and then realizing that, oh wow, we didn't hit the overhead mark that we need to in order to successfully run a business and employ people, which helps homes get built faster and more efficiently and all that good stuff. So every year, at least 2 prices increases a year, and a lot of times there'll maybe be a little bit of whisper about it, but there's no exact, this is when it's going to happen. It pretty much depends on going through all of the numbers for houses that have recently been finished, determining that, the siding has been up in all of these now. Or we'll get emails, especially going into the first of the year, from, the siding supplier, the window supplier, the shingle supplier, the drywall supplier. Prices are increasing by 5% this year, and they kind of give you a heads up for that. But we as a builder, we're not changing our prices right then and there. So, all that back history info out of the way. So I've been working with a number of people, 5 of them in particular, that I had given pricing to. We had started working together last year. We're a custom home builder. A lot of the jobs that we do, my sales process can take almost a year with some of the clients, depending on the complexity and size of the house. So there had been people that I was working with before we even did the price increase last year. Well, we had never really, finalized pricing. Excuse me. We were still having preliminary plans drawn, this, that, and the other. But so now, we just had another price increase in January. So I had to go back to all 5 of these people, and not after I had given them, I have not given them final pricing and said, all right, we can turn this into the building agreement and move ahead. We haven't got to that point yet. We're pretty much at the point where they've committed because we're having plans drawn up. They've put down a deposit. We've got full sets of blueprints with some. We've got preliminary plans with others. We've been doing survey site work with all of them. So, we're, in my book and their book, we are moving full speed ahead. Well, now we have a price increase. This happened in January. By the time we break ground on these 5 houses, six houses, it's still going to be, we increased our prices in January, and we won't be realistically breaking ground on these until, March and April. So that's still a good 3-4 months out. So can't keep the pricing that we had prior to January, because by the time that we start, we're already way behind the 8 ball then. So I've got to go back, and I've got to, now we're at a point with all of them, with all 6 of them, where we can put a contract together. We've got final numbers. Plans have been bid out. We've got accurate numbers. I'd given them, most of that, but now I got to go back and say, well, it's going to be, $10,000 more. That's what the price increase is. So how do you handle that? How do you deal with that? There's, I guess, no really set method in how you do it. I mean, all you can really do is be honest and explain that, we're not doing this to make more money on the houses. We are trying to maintain the amount that we're making, and we get notified throughout the year of price increases, whether it be through just the bills that we get or vendors letting us know that there's going to be price increases. We can only hold our prices for 90 days. I would say the easiest way to combat most of this, and you're still going to have to explain and have these conversations when you do increase the price, because even though you have this disclaimer out there, a lot of times they don't see it. So on the pricing sheet that I give to people, on the top of the pricing sheet, I need to add back in, because I did have that. We redid them and I don't, but it needs to say that pricing is only good for 90 days. And the 90 days would mean that they are closed on their construction loan at that 90th day. That typically takes a month from the time that you give the bank a building agreement and a blueprint. The bank's going to typically take 30 days to close them on the construction loan. So realistically, the price is good for 60 days, because at that 60th day, everything needs to go to the bank and you have to be closed on the construction loan. So if you get it out there ahead of time, that's the best way to deal with it. And with some of the clients that I started working with last year and knew that we were a little ways out, or maybe they didn't even really want to start until this year, I did tell them this. I did tell them that, we're not going to be able to hold our prices, all the way through next year. That's just not realistic. So, but even though you tell them that ahead of time, now maybe 4 months have gone by, and then you have to do the price increase, and it's kind of like a conversation you have to have all over again. It's probably the hardest hurdle that I have to overcome. Just starting to work with somebody in December or even November, I need to let them know that, hey, we can only, and sometimes what I'll do is, because if I'm starting to work with somebody in November or December, it's going to take, we're not going to have, they're not going to be closed on their construction loan in 90 days with most of the builds that we're doing. With some of them, yes. So with some of these, I will actually, even though we have a current price for the price list, I will add to that. I'll add $5,000 or $6,000 to that, so that when it does come time for it, I may be covered. I may have already added enough to where it covered the price increase, because some are more than others. So then if it happens, I'm feeling great, because I don't have to say anything. I've already accounted for it. It's, that's a win-win right there. Or sometimes, I've added $6,000, but the price increase is going to be $10,000. So, $4,000 is a little easier to swallow than $10,000 is. But okay, so the best way to deal with breaking the news of a price increase is, number one, put it out there ahead of time. It's like any other thing in the process. Set the expectation in the beginning. I've recently put together a sales process so that if somebody wanted to come in and sell homes for us, there's a step-by-step document that they can follow. This is everything that they need to do, all the information that they need to collect, everything they need to do to take a client from start to finish. Something I'm going to start sharing with the client at our meetings so that they know exactly what to expect, including, when we're going to ask for a deposit, how much that's going to be. It's going to say that the pricing's only good for 90 days. So setting the expectations in the beginning are the best way to handle this. Now, when the time actually does come to where you have to break the awful news to somebody when you are right there, with pricing and they've agreed to move ahead with everything, and now you've got to break that news, have a script written out. Make sure that you're confident in what you're saying. Make sure you're saying the same thing every time, and it needs to go a little something like, it's not that we're trying to make more money on the houses. We just have to maintain the amount that we're making in order to continue to run our business. Periodically throughout the year, we receive price increases from our suppliers and vendors, and we don't know exactly when they're gonna come, but when they do, we have to react to them and we have to change our pricing because of them. And that's the only reason why. You as a salesperson, be in contact with whoever's going to hand down that price increase and tell them, hey, let me know a month ahead of time if you can, or as early ahead of time as you can if there's going to be something coming down the line. Because if you're meeting with the client today for the first time and prices are going to be increasing in 2 weeks or a month, you can give them what the updated price is going to be and not even have to deal with it. So, be prepared to explain it, have a script for it. If you can, account for it in the pricing ahead of time and set the expectations with it. So those are the best ways, I think, to handle the dreaded conversation of we're increasing the price on your home build. I know you already were over your budget and thought it was way too much, but now it's going to be another $10,000 more. Sorry. Okay, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I am starting a subscription-based service. It would almost be almost like a retainer fee that would be paid to basically have me on call. So if you're a new construction home salesperson, if you're looking at starting a new home building company, anytime you've got a question or you need to bounce something off of somebody, you can call me. We can have a conversation. We can talk through it. I've already got one client. Thank you, sir. But just wanted to throw that out there. If that would be something you would be interested in, just let me know. All right. Appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the day.